Meanwhile, 5 members of a family were killed instantly when a giant bully tree fell on their home in Pitogo, Quezon, amid the onslaught of Tropical Storm Ramil. The typhoon also caused a widespread flooding across several parts of the country. Here is a report.
Slowly, floodwaters engulfed this vehicle in Barangay Lawaan, Roa City, Capiz on Saturday. The road turned into a river, making it difficult for passengers and vehicles to pass. In Barangay Lonoy, some vehicles could no longer move forward either as the rushing water made the roads impassable. A van even stalled in the middle of the flood. Local government units immediately launched rescue operations to evacuate affected residents, bringing along their pets and livestock to safety. In Daram Samar, streets look more like rivers as floodwaters continued to rush through the town. Some residents resorted to using ropes just to cross the flood as the current was dangerously strong. Heavy flooding also struck Barangay Calbayog in San Isidro, Northern Samar. Fishermen tightly secured their boats to prevent them from being swept away. In some parts of the barangay, the water reached chest-deep levels. In Eastern Samar, 2 fishermen were earlier reported missing in the towns of San Julian and Sulat. They were identified as Venelio Pombo and Junji Valera, both 30 years old. The 2 have since been found safe in the town of San Policarpio and now are back with their families. Meanwhile, in Dipaculao, Aurora, the spillway in Barangay Dianid overflowed due to heavy rain. Local authorities quickly conducted clearing operations. Over in Pitogo, Quezon Province, 5 members of a family, including 2 young children, were killed when a large bully tree fell onto their nipahat in Barangay Kawayanin.
Several local governments have suspended classes due to bad weather. Classes are suspended in all levels across the provinces of Bataan and Cavite. No classes as well in Rodriguez, Rizal, Kalumpit, Bulacan, and Dingalan, Aurora. In Pampanga, class suspensions cover Angeles City, Arayat, and Bacolor. Also suspended are classes in San Fernando, Mabalacat City, Magalang, Mexico, Minalin, Sasmuan, and Santa Ana, Pampanga. Class suspensions are also in effect in several towns of Zambales. The same goes for parts of Pangasinan, including Alaminos City, Aguilar, and Bayambang. More towns in Pangasinan are also included. Suspensions also cover Pozo Rubio, Rosales, San Carlos City, San Fabian, San Jacinto, Santo Tomas, Santa Barbara, and Suwal, Pangasinan. No classes as well in parts of Occidental Mindoro and Capiz. Meanwhile, due to earthquake damage, all classes are suspended in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, and Cantilan, Surigao del Sur. Classes are also suspended in all levels in Lucena City, Quezon, and in Trece Martires, Ternate, and Indang, Cavite as a precaution against flu-like illnesses. In Tayug, Pangasinan, preschool classes are suspended due to bad weather. From preschool to senior high school, class suspensions are also declared in several areas in Pangasinan as well as in Cabanatuan City, Nueva Ecija.
Now, a section of the Davao-Bukidnon National Highway in Quezon, Bukidnon has collapsed in a massive landslide, stranding motorists on both ends. Here is the report.
From this drone video, you can see the massive landslide that hit the national highway along the Davao-Bukidnon Road in the town of Quezon, Bukidnon. The ravine created is more than 200 meters deep. Because of the landslide, the road has been closed to all types of vehicles. The stretch of the Davao-Bukidnon Road in Quezon Town has 6 lanes. But after the landslide, almost 5 of those lanes have been swallowed by the earth. Buses have been stranded on both ends of the damaged highway. Meanwhile, motorcycles are forced to pass along the mountain's edge just to get across the collapsed road. A tricycle, locally known as a bao-bao, was buried when the landslide occurred, just as it happened to be passing by. On board were an elderly couple, Eli and Thelma Obatay, who were on their way home after selling vegetables. They remain missing as of this time. Their son has joined the search efforts himself, digging through the debris to find them.
Medyo masakit pa tanggapin ang nangyari. Kailangan na lang naming isipin na disgrasya yung nangyari. Sana makita na yung kanilang mga katawan.
Motorists are advised to take these alternative routes for the meantime. If traveling from Cagayan de Oro to Tagum City, Drivers may pass through Junction Saire Highway Poblacion via the Kapalong-Talaingod-Valencia Road. As of now, search and retrieval operations for the missing elderly couple were suspended on Sunday night due to safety concerns and the risk of another landslide. The search will resume today.
Grabe yung yung Ramil, yung effect niya dyan sa mga affected areas.
Kala natin wala lang kasi here in Metro Manila, although tinaas, I think yesterday was signal number 2. At saka 1, we were not aware, plus walang signs of any storm hitting us within Metro Manila. That's what I'm saying. I mean, walang hangin, walang masyadong
That's why
ulan.
if you can remember last Friday when we were talking to a weather specialist sa Pag-asa, tinanong ko siya na parang, kasi nakapasok na siya nung Friday, pero aalis siya ng bandang si Ramil.
Si Ramil.
Aalis siya today, di ba, early morning today.
Correct.
So, parang ang bagal niya. Ano ba yung dala nito? Hangin ba? Ulan ba? Di ba yun pinag-usapan
pag signal number 2, hangin talaga yun. Kaso hindi natin naramdaman. So, kala natin wala. Yung pala, when you check yung Pag-asa sites, may signal na pala Metro Manila.
Grabe. And I was also, I was able to talk to PDRRMO ng Capiz kanina, and she was telling me nga daw na, sabi ko, yung mga ibang mga na-evacuate ninyo, yung ibang mga nasa evacuation center, meron bang preemptive evacuation na nangyari? Sabi niya, to be honest, wala daw, kasi nung una, nabigla daw sila, kasi yellow warning lang eh.
Yes.
Tapos biglang nagkaganyan nga na maraming tubig ulan din yung, tapos nagbaha doon sa areas. And of course, yung balita natin doon na, yung nalaglagan na bahay, na bully tree, Oo, kawawa yung family niya, only nag-survive yung eldest daughter. Apparently pala, yung puno na yun, matagal na nilang pinauusukan.
They tried burning it down, kaso hindi daw kinaya ng burning down kasi masyado nang mataas.
Parang over the years, parang nag-weaken yung niya,
makunat
yung
daw yung loob. Kasi yung bully tree, yung high density tree yun. So kahit sunugin mo, hindi siya basta-basta bibigay, parang uuling yung loob. Ayun, nung tinamaan ng hangin, bumagsak.
Medyo weaken na yung foundation.
Anyway, sige, let's check the situation on the ground following the landslide along the Davao-Bukidnon Road.
News 5 correspondent Bril Montalvo is reporting live from Quezon, Bukidnon. Bril, tell us what's happening there.
Hello, magandang umaga sa inyo dyan sa studio. Nandito nga tayo ngayon na sa mismong landslide or dito sa kabila. Sa site mismo kung saan nangyari itong mga landslide dito sa portion ng Davao-Bukidnon Road, dito nga sa bayan ng Quezon. At hanggang sa ngayon ay nagsasagawa pa rin na nasa second day na ng search, rescue and retrieval operation. Ito nga mga rescue team sa paghahanap. Ito nga dalawang biktima ng landslide dito. Ito nga mag-asawang senior citizen na sila Eli at Thelma Ubatay. Noong Sabado nga sa kasagsagan ng pagguho ay tiyempong dumaan sila at pauwi na sana sila sa kanilang bahay. At yun, natabunan sila ng lupa, sakay ang kanilang tricab. At sa ngayon, nandun yung mga rescuer doon sa ground zero kung saan nangyari ang landslide at patuloy nilang hinahanap itong mag-asawang biktima.
Bril, so up to now, may possibility pa na may survivor? Kasi in word, the rescue pa rin nandun eh.
Yun nga ang sabi ng mga rescuer na hindi pa rin nila isinasantabi itong word na rescue kasi nga possible na buhay pa, hindi pa nila isinasantabi na posibleng buhay pa itong dalawang rescuer sa pamamagitan na nga lang ng isang himala. Although maliit na lang daw na chance na mabubuhay pa itong dalawang biktima. Pero yun nga, hoping pa rin itong mga rescuer na matatagpuan pa sila buhay. Alam nyo, nakausap din natin itong isa sa mga anak nitong mag-asawang senior citizen na biktima. At ang sabi nga nila na handa na daw sila at tanggap daw nila kung ano man ang kinahinatnan ng kanilang mga magulang. Pero ang hiling na nila ngayon na sana ay makita na ang katawan ng kanilang mga magulang. Kung patay naman, ay ibibigyan nila ng disenteng burol man lang ng kanilang mga magulang.
Bril, nakikita namin kasi sa video kung saan naguhukay yung mga rescuers, no? Parang may green na sasakyan. Yung ba yung sasakyan ng dalawa?
Oo, tama ka nga dyan. Yun yung sasakyan nila. Ito nga bao-bao. Dito, it's local term bao-bao o
Mm.
tri-cab. Itong tri-cab, yun yung
Okay.
sinakyan nila. Pauwi na sana sila from Quezon. Nagtitinda sila ng gulay at pauwi na sila bandang alas 8 nga ng gabi nung Sabado nang natsyempong gumuho itong daan at nandoon sila na dumadaan, bumabaybay dito sa kahabaan ng Davao Bukidnon Road kaya natabunan sila ng lupang gumuho.
Nako, Bril, ako naman, I wanna know kung meron ng initial assessment yung mga engineers dyan dahil yung kalye na yan ay malaki yan eh. Yan yung link na yan na doon sa, ang tawag dito, sa Northern Mindanao and Davao Region. So lahat dyan dumadaan. Eh ngayon, di ba, ano yung alternative na ruta doon? Gaano kalaki yung estimated na damage?
Yes, tama ka nga dyan, Angela. Ito nga dito sa aking likuran, yan yung mismong landslide area. So nasa 6 lanes itong Davao Bukidnon Road dito nga sa sa bayan ng Quezon at nasa 5 lanes itong halos 5 lanes ng 6 lanes dito ay kinain na, nilamon na ng lupa itong nga landslide at may mga alternative route naman na pwedeng pagdadaanan ng mga motorista, especially itong mga bus, pampaserong bus from Davao City to Cagayan de Oro City and vice versa. Pwede silang dumaan sa mga alternative route sa mga kalapit na bayan dito. Dadaan sila ng Davao del Norte, yung isang route naman is dadaan ng North Cotabato. Medyo may kalayuan nga lang itong alternative route. Pero ayun nga sa LGU dito, nakausap natin na dito kasi hindi pa natin nakikita yung mga presence ng DPWH dito sa lugar. So nakausap natin yung LGU kung ano yung gagawin nila. Ay maggagawa sila dito sa parte ng bukid, dito nga sa gilid ng kalsada ay maghuhukay na naman sila, maggagawa na naman sila ng panibagong daan para sa bagong daan nga dito sa Davao Bukidnon Road.
Bril, looking at the video also, no, nakikita namin kasi from our point here, yung part na bumigay, parang straight down na binitak na bundok yan or yeah, parang binitak lang siya. No? Ang question dito is, will they check yung other parts nitong road kung safe or strong or safe siya? Kasi kung gumuho tong part, any part of that area, pwede rin bumigay.
Yes, tama ka nga dyan. Yun nga yung sabi dito ng LGU na susuruin nila kasama itong taga MGB, Mines and Geosciences Bureau at other concerned agency para tignan to at inspeksyonin itong buong daanan ng Davao Bukidnon Road. Baka may mga ibang daan din dito, kalsada, na baka maulit na naman yung pagguho.
Nako, Bril, baka check mo nila, baka substandard yan. Baka tinipid na naman ang budget.
Oo, yun nga yung haka-haka dito ng mga residente sa lugar. Baka substandard kasi kung makikita nyo dito sa itong kalsada, medyo napakanipis itong semento. So yun yung haka-haka ng mga residente dito na baka na landslide at kinurakot na naman itong daan. Although napakatagal na daw itong daan, almost 2 dekada na daw itong daan.
Yun nga, di ba kanina sabi ko, vital link yan
Yeah,
from between Northern Mindanao and Davao regions at yung mga products, yung mga goods from Davao na dapat i-export sa South China o Southeast Asia at saka China ay diyan dumadaan. So if ever there's going to be a big impact, big significance yung mobility at saka commerce ng yung daanan diyan, 'di ba? Diyan sa area na 'yan. So alam mo na ba yung parang sabi mo nga kasi kanina yung DPWH wala pa diyan eh kasi I was wondering kung baka pwede natin malaman yung timeline nila na maayos 'yan, 'di ba? Kapag nahanap na natin yung mga iba natin hinahanap diyan na survivors, 'di ba? So ano yung timeline nila para maayos 'yan dahil it's going to be big significant talaga yung impact nito sa mobility and commerce.
Yes, tama ka nga dyan, Angela. Ayun nga sa LGU dito, it's a long process pa daw itong pagkukumpuni nitong daan. So, aabot pa daw ng 6 na buwan hanggang 1 taon ang pagkukumpuni nitong nasirang daan dito bago madaanan ulit. Kaya ang plan B nitong LGU dito sa Quezon na Bukidnon is maggagawa na naman sila ng daan dito nga sa gilid ng bundok para na rin sa while ongoing itong construction ng nasirang daan na gumuho is may madadaanan ito ngang mga motorista, especially mga bus, mga sasakyan, mga cargos na may dalang mga pagkain from Cagayan de Oro City to Davao City and vice versa. Kasi ito lang yung daanan dito na medyo malapit at lessen yung hours para pupunta doon sa Davao and Cagayan de Oro City. Kung normal na itong daan dito, ang travel time nasa 4 to 5 hours. Pero sa ngayon, dahil nasira ito, aabot daw ng 8 to 10 hours ang travel dito from Davao City to Bukidnon.
Ang
to
haba.
Cagayan de Oro City.
Oo. Pero Bril, last na meron ba tayong nakita din na inspection, initial assessment sa iba pang areas na affected din ng landslide?
Angela, ayon nga sa LGU ay tatapusin muna nila itong paghahanap sa dalawang senior citizen ng mag-asawang biktima bago sila mag-inspection sa iba pang area ng lugar. One at a time lang po, Angela.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat kay Bril Montalvo na nag-uulap dyan sa Quezon, Bukidnon. Ingat kayo dyan. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. The Philippine Society for Microbiology and Infectious Diseases reported a steady rise in influenza cases across Metro Manila from August to early October 2025. Data from hospital infection control committees showed that more than 6,000 flu tests were conducted during the period. The positivity rate increased from 39% in August and September to 42% in October, suggesting continuous community transmission. PSMID urged the public to get vaccinated and follow preventive measures such as regular hand washing and mask wearing to help curb infections.
Let's discuss that further with Dr. Janice Kawili, President of the Philippine Society for Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. Doc, thank you for joining us.
We are here to...
Hello, good morning, Angela and Angelo. Thank you for having me here today.
All right, Doc. Well, numbers say that there's a steady increase in cases, flu cases across Metro Manila. But comparatively to last year, do we see should we be concerned?
Okay, so just to maybe qualify that. So the data that we got are for 4 hospitals.
Okay.
The Medical City, Makati Medical Center, Chinese General Hospital, and the Philippine General Hospital. So what we did was to combine our data on flu testing.
Okay.
So these are confirmed flu test results from the 4 hospitals. And what we observed are increasing cases of influenza among those tested. So that's what we saw. And that's what we reported in our task force report in our society.
Clarify ko, Doc, kasi may mga reports na lumalabas na ILI, no? The word kasi influenza-like illnesses is different from the actual flu, no, Doc?
Okay. So ILI includes influenza.
Okay. So the numbers magkasama.
Yeah. So ILI is a more generic term.
Okay.
Okay? So it doesn't require confirmatory testing. Meron definition ng ILI, and then if a individual or a patient fulfills the criteria for ILI, that's already considered as influenza-like illness. So ILI also includes other respiratory infections like RSV, the common cold, rhinovirus, and even COVID-19, and of course, influenza. But the good thing, kasi if we do testing, so in these hospitals that we included in this report, they were able to test.
Okay.
So they were able to confirm influenza among those presenting with respiratory symptoms.
What about the transmission rate, Doc? Given nga po the increase of flu cases, yung steady increase ng flu cases here in Metro Manila, kamusta po yung transmission case, yung rate?
So transmission, we are unable to really monitor that, right? So we don't have in our hospitals we measure the positivity test
Okay.
of the testing, but transmission we are unable to do that. So what we can probably suggest is to see what's really the report in the broader community. So the Department of Health actually conducts surveillance reports, no, and they get also reports from many more facilities aside from hospitals. So maybe we can also refer to the reports of the DOH regarding transmission.
Doc, for the actual flu, may gamot ba dyan or do we just ride it out?
Yeah. So there's a medicine, merong gamot for influenza. And of course, no, we prioritize those who are at risk of developing severe illness. No, ito yung mga very young, the very old, tapos yung may comorbids, and of course, those with severe symptoms yung na-admit sa hospital. So we are able naman to give treatment for patients with influenza.
Do we have, Doc, data on yung historical mortality rate nitong flu in modern times?
So in the Philippines, no, we actually have ILI surveillance no ng Department of Health. But for influenza, no, it really depends on the hospital. So for example, I belong to Makati Medical Center and we have been monitoring influenza outcomes since 2023 rather, since 2023. So that was during the COVID pandemic, and the mortality rates are actually low naman, no, less than 2%, no, among admitted cases. So, but of course that is only for our hospital.
Yes. Of
course.
So what we really want to do now, no, with this flu task force in our society is to collate the data from other hospitals that are able to track testing rates and also outcomes of patients who are admitted in the hospital.
Right.
Yung sa 2% na binanggit nyo, Doc, sa hospital nyo, that is may comorbidity siya? Do they belong to an older age group?
Yes, correct. That's very correct, no, Angelo. So it's also consistent with reports in other countries. So the more severe cases of influenza actually happens, no, sa very young and the very old. So yung sinabi ko na less than 2% na mortality rate, nakita namin na it really happens sa older individuals, sa elderly.
Okay, well, recently po ang local government ng Quezon has announced na meron silang mask wearing mandatory rule doon sa kanila, no? Should that be adopted din ng ibang mga local government because of what's happening right now?
So we also shared recommendations, no, in our meron din po kaming social media pages sa PISMEET. And also we also created an infographic that can be, shared to the communities. And mask wearing, I think, is more important pag crowded yung places, no? And at risk for severe illness, yung individual in that setting, no? But mandatory might be difficult to implement. And I think we should be more selective, no, when we, of course, recommend masking. Maybe if you look at the yung sa guidelines nila, I'm sure they will recommend that it's really for crowded places and for those who are at risk for severe illness.
So, Doc, since the influenza and the COVID-19, they belong to the ILI group, no? Would we say then na yung gaano kabilis ka makakahawa or mahahawa magkapareho between COVID-19 and the flu?
Okay. I can't say, no? So, but for influenza, no, nakakahawa siya through droplets, no? So, infectious droplets. So, a person talking, sneezing, coughing, no, na infected ng influenza, pwede niyang ma-release yung infectious droplets, no, through the mouth, and then yun ang pwedeng makahawa sa ibang tao. Okay? So, the same way, COVID ganun din, no? Pero yung kung ilan ang mahahawa dun sa, kung saan dadapo yung droplets na yun, ano? So, it really depends on of course, the persons, no? Kung mas immunocompromised sila, mas protected sila, no? Kung gaano ka taas yung viral load. So, I think what's really important for us to remember is that influenza is transmitted that way. So, how do we protect people from getting infected? Pag umuubo, please cover your mouth, no? And if they're sick, as much as possible, wag na silang pumasok sa school or sa workplace kasi pwede silang makahawa ng ibang tao kasi nga when they talk, when they cough, when they sneeze, they actually release infectious droplets into the air. And if that's inhaled, if the droplets are inhaled by other individuals, they can actually develop influenza.
I want to go back dun po sa testing, Doc, kasi you have been mentioning earlier, reiterating na itong numbers that we are talking about is just within the hospital po ninyo, no? And you're also targeting na lumawak ito, na magkaroon ng testing also sa ibang mga hospital. But what about the areas na, alam niyo po, marami po sa atin ngayon na, sipon lang yan, di na ako magpapa-check up, or minsan wala naman talagang pangbayad ng check-up, So, how do we, extend para malaman po natin yung ibang mga communities ay medyo mataas na rin po yung cases nila ng flu-like illnesses nila?
Okay. So, we don't really recommend massive testing. That's also not feasible. Okay? So, as you probably note, the testing was done in hospitals. So ito yung mga pasyente pumupunta sa ospital, mas masama na yung pakiramdam nila when they go to hospitals. So it's very important that we determine ano ba ang cause ng fever nila or ng ubo nila, no? Influenza ba ito o iba pang mikrobyo? Because influenza, you give antiviral, you don't give antibiotic, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Kasi that will prevent overuse of antibiotics also. So it's important to test. But these are the very sick ones, who go to the hospital. So sa bahay, if they don't feel, very, very unwell or very ill, they can actually take care of themselves at home, right? So kailangan lang make sure na they observe infection control practices at home. Kung may masama ang pakiramdam nila, then as much as possible, they don't expose the household. Make sure that they are properly hydrated, they eat well, they can take supportive medications, para hindi masyadong mataas yung lagnat nila. And they observe for progression of symptoms. Pag nag-progress ang symptoms nila, then that's the time that they should consult already. But also, there are people, individuals who are at risk for more severe illness. So ito, wag na nilang antayin na sobrang sama na ng pakiramdam bago magpatingin sa ospital. So ito nga yung sinabi ko, yung mga bata, sobrang bata, at mga matatanda at may comorbids.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Doc. Isa influenza ba kailangan ng fever? Or, kunyari, should you, sabi mo, wag papasok, wag pupunta ng work. Kung may ubo ka pa lang, sore throat, and all those other symptoms, puwera ang fever. Should you then follow yung sinabi mo?
That's a very good question. Kasi hindi lahat naglalagnat. So, ibig sabihin, baka sabihin natin na wala kang lagnat, hindi yan influenza. So, as you are correct, some individuals with influenza will only present with body malaise, yung parang ansama ng pakiramdam, may ubo, may sipon, at walang lagnat. Or pwede rin na meron silang lagnat, hindi lang sila nakagamit ng thermometer, so hindi nila talaga na confirm na meron silang lagnat, pero pakiramdam nila may lagnat sila. So tama, hindi po lahat ng may influenza nagpe-present ng fever. So it's very important na pag merong ganong pakiramdam na parang tatangkasuhin, as much as possible, wag na nilang expose yung household nila or yung co-workers nila doon sa infection.
Lastly, Doc, do we expect po ba na magkakaroon pa po ng peak itong itong increase ng ating mga nagkakasakit?
So the only way for us to determine that is to continue monitoring cases, right? So hindi natin ma-predict like now kung ito na ba yung peak natin o tataas pa o pababa, So we just need to continue surveillance, and we actually invite hospitals who are testing flu to share their data with the Department of Health. Meron namang pong reporting process dyan. And even sa society namin, because most of the infection control committees in hospitals are actually led by members of our society, the Philippine Society for Microbiology and Infectious Diseases.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Dr. Janice Kawili, President of the Philippine Society for Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. Magandang umaga po.
Thank you very much.
In other news, Representative Martin Romualdez asked to postpone his second appearance before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure or ICI due to a medical procedure. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos has the report.
Former House Speaker Martin Romualdez has requested to postpone his supposed second appearance in the Independent Commission for Infrastructure on Wednesday, October 22. Romualdez cited a need to undergo a medical procedure and that the Commission will issue an advisory once a date for the next hearing has been determined. This was after ICI Executive Director Brian Hosaka confirmed that they are closely looking at Romualdez's submitted affidavit and a possibility of calling other personalities that the congressman might have implicated in the flood control scandal. It can be recalled that on his first visit, Romualdez expressed his gratitude to the Commission to air his side of the story and his willingness to help to speed up the ongoing fact-finding investigation. Meanwhile, on Friday, the ICI has expressed its willingness to offer technical support to the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Education to investigate anomalies in the agencies. That includes the probe to DepEd's classrooms and DA's brewing overpriced farm-to-market road issue worth 10 billion pesos, with some of top firms included in the flood control scandal also involved. However, Hosaka clarified that the anomalous flood control projects remain as the Independent Commission for Infrastructure's focus.
We will take this into consideration, and as I said, once we are fully capacitated, we will then look into this. But sa ngayon kasi wala pa naman silang napakompletong investigasyon, hindi pa nga nila napafile yung kanilang report sa amin. So siguro pagka dumating na yung mga reports na yan, and meron na kami sufficient capacity to look into this matter, we will do so. Pero in the meantime, dun pa rin tayo. Yung pa rin yung natin, game plan natin dun sa 421 ghost projects.
Also on Friday, Acting Deputy Chief on Mission Michael Kelleher of the U.S. Embassy visited the Commission to learn about its mandate, priority, investigative process, and ongoing initiatives. Osaka is quick to defend the seemingly unusual interests of the embassy in the country's recent and biggest corruption anomaly.
I believe anybody would be interested in any corruption issue, regardless of whether or not you're a Filipino or you're a foreigner, because they have there are partners, they have commercial interests, so naturally they would want to know what the ICI will be doing as far as these projects are concerned.
He also added that there are no offer of help just yet, including the plans to bring home resigned Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldi Co. Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines denies claims that President Bongbong Marcos ordered the removal of military retirements benefits. Here's a report.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines is warning that retired military personnel who spread false information or incite rebellion against the government could risk losing their pensions. But the AFP also denies claims circulating online that President Bongbong Marcos has ordered the removal of military retirement benefits, calling such reports baseless, malicious, and meant to mislead. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Padilla said the military is only studying legal options on how to hold accountable retired officers found spreading fake news or inciting unrest, even if they are now considered civilians.
The legal channels determines that this is so, then we will follow. The AFP is not gonna take this sitting down. So we are aware that all of these things are happening, and of course, we will react accordingly po.
The Philippine Navy revealed that the highest-ranking officer monitored spreading false information is a retired two-star general, reportedly receiving 160,000 pesos monthly in pension.
Lahat ng retirado ay tumatanggap ng pensyon. And pag tumatanggap ka ng pensyon sa gobyerno, it follows na dapat may pananagutan ka sa tinatanggap mo. So ito ay kasama sa pinag-aaralan ng ating mga legal officers ng AFP.
Earlier, AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. said some retired officers had been urging active soldiers to withdraw support from President Marcos amid protests over alleged flood control anomalies. Meanwhile, the AFP refuted allegations of 15 billion pesos worth of ghost projects, saying these are implemented by the Department of Public Works and Highways.
Wala po kami sa bidding process, wala po kami sa procurement process and any to that effect. So, maling-mali po no, na ipakalat na meron pong anomalya sa sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas. Wala po.
At this point, let's check the latest over at the Senate. We have mobile journalist Marimon Reyes. Marimon, anong latest dyan sa Senado?
Good morning, Angelo, Angela. Nilinis, nirepaso, pero hindi pa raw perpekto. Yan ang sinabi ni DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon sa ngayon kasi simula pa lang na budget hearing ng Senate Committee on Finance sa 2026 proposed budget ng Department of Public Works and Highways at ang kanilang propose nga for 2026, 625.8 billion pesos. Mas mababa ito, mga 28% ito mas mababa sa originally na proposal sana nila under NEP na 881.3 billion pesos. Ang naging cut nito over 255 billion pesos. Ito yung naging alinsunod doon sa ano rin ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na kailangan daw linisin muna yung budget ng DPWH, tanggalin muna yung dito sa mga flood control projects. At ang nakita nga doon, ang sabi rin ni Secretary Dizon, ang natitira na lang ay 15.77 billion pesos. Ito yung mga foreign assisted flood control projects. Ang sabi rin kanina ni Secretary Dizon, sa isang linggo na binigay sa kanila nung nanggaling sila ng House Committee on Appropriations budget hearing, binigyan kasi sila ng isang linggo para raw linisin pa yung kanilang budget. So ang ginawa nila dito, tinanggal nila yung duplicate projects, completed projects, overlapping sections sa ilang mga proyekto. At ang sabi pa rin niya dito, kung may makita pa rin daw na questionable ang Senado, mas maganda rin daw at tiyahin na rin daw nila yon para matanggal sa panukalang pondo. Balik sa inyo.
At saka diba sabi nila ang gagawin na ngayon, yung mga kunyari infrastructure projects na for agriculture, ibibigay na nila sa sa DA, yung Farm to Market Road. Tapos halimbawa yung mga pagtayo ng mga eskwelahan, ibibigay na nila sa DepEd. Hindi na nila papabayaan na sa DPWH yun ang humawak. Tama?
Tama, yan yung sinabi ni Finance Committee Chairman Senator Sherwin Gatchalian para rin daw masiguro una na sure at mas matututukan yung implementasyon ng mga proyekto. Yung itong mga capacity to pursue yung mga infrastructure projects, tinitignan na nila ng mga senador na mula sa DPWH, ibibigay nila doon sa mga departamento o ahensya para raw mas masiguro yung accountability at mas masiguro rin daw na may implement yung pinaka-proyekto on infrastructure. Tama.
Mary, mo linaw ba nila kung when they said na ipapasa sa lead agency, for example, kung schools ang gagawin, DepEd ang magsisiguro, will ensure na gagawin ito, pero ipapasa ba nila yung actual construction sa DPWH or sila ang magpapabid kung sinong gagawa?
Oo, Angelo, ang sinabi niya ni Senator Gatchalian, inaaral nila ngayon yung paglilipat nitong capacity ng mga ahensya. So tulad nung last time, ang huling nasabi niya, for the case of the farm to market roads, imbis na sa DPWH, ibibigay na sa DA. Sa mga eskwelahan, tulad na sabi rin ni Angelo, sa DPWH, ibibigay na rin yan sa DepEd. And then, for example, dito sa mga super health centers, mga walkaway health center na hindi nagagawa, imbis sa DPWH, sa DOH, and ang aaralin nila is paano ngayon magkakaroon na ng accountability pagdating sa proseso ng bidding, sino nga ba kukunin na nila mga kontratista, and paano mag-work yung pag-monitor din nila dito naman sa mga ahensya pag sila na ang mag-i-implement ng infra projects.
So ano magiging actual role, Marymon, ng DPWH? Parang natitira sa kanila is road, national roads na lang
flagship projects. Oo, mga flagship projects na lang ang matitira. Ang supposedly nakikita ni Senator Gatchalian. Flagship projects sa mga tulay, mga kalsada, and kung meron pang iba, for example sa flood control, yung mga foreign assisted. Pero yung mga locally funded or locally programmed na mga proyekto on infra, tinitingnan dito ng Senado ngayon, tatanggalin na sa DPWH. At sinasabi pa nga, tinitignan pa nila yung possibility ng pagtatanggal pa around 15 to 20% sa infrastructure project budgets under DPWH para raw masiguro na at matanggal na yung usapin naman na overpricing sa mga proyekto.
Kasi alam ko, meron pinag-aralan nila noon ng flood control, pwede rin daw ipasa under the irrigation Kasi yan ang role ng irrigation is to collate the water and then allocate it.
Tama yan. At ang tinitingnan din dito sabi ni Senator Sherwin, kung ano pang ibang mga sektor, ang possibly meron ganitong sitwasyon na anomalous na mga proyekto. So, ang huling nakita bukod sa flood control, yun nga, yung mga paaralan, yung mga walkaway health centers, and even yung irrigation din, nais din ni Senator Sherwin na aralin din daw at busisiin kasi baka rin daw magkaroon din ng ganitong problema na mayroong nag-take advantage ng proseso ng procurement and bidding. At ang nasabi rin ni Senator Sherwin, so far, nagtap din daw siya ng independent team ng private project managers para makapag-audit ng around 10,000 na DPWH projects nationwide para raw makita na bukod dito sa mga na-raise na so far, baka meron pa raw masilip at kakailanganin pa ng mas malalim na investigasyon.
And I think they also mentioned that they want to look at giving more responsibility sa local government pagdating nga dito sa mga local infrastructure projects para daw hindi na ulit mangyari yung nangyayari ngayon na nagtuturuan sila na sinasabi ng local government, wala kaming alam doon sa ginagawa ng DPWH sa lugar namin.
Tama yan, Angela. At ang sabi naman kanina ni DPWH sa Secretary Dizon, yan yung isa sa mga tututukan na rin nila. Since natanggal nila yung mga overlapping projects, yung mga nauulit na mga proyekto, ang hinihingi pang tulong naman ni DPWH Secretary Dizon, kung meron pa raw makikitang questionable mula dito sa ahensya, mula sa makikita ng Senado, magiging bukas daw siyang malaman para ma-address na nila at mabigyan at matugunan yung problemang kinakaharap ng ahensya. Kasi sabi pa nga ni Senator Win last time, kung siya tatanungin daw hindi yung proposal, sa dinami-dami ng kailangang linisin ni Sec Dizon dito sa DPWH, hindi niya yun kakayanin daw sa ilang buwan lang. Kaya baka raw kung pwede, bukod sa cleansing, baka mas maganda raw gumawa na ng bagong DPWH. Pero it's just an expression lang daw sa kung gaano kabigat ang kailangang repasuhin bukod dito sa panukalang pondo ng DPWH.
Meriman, may bala ako ng konti ha. Ano ang mainit ngayon sa Blue Ribbon Committee? May chairman na ba or si Senator Tulfo na?
Ang nasabi ni Senate President Tito Soto sa isang panayam naman sa media is may chances daw na yung majority ay hihikayatin pa si Senator Ping Lacson na bumalik bilang Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman. Pero baka raw mapilitan ito si Senator Lacson. Pero sa ngayon nakikita ni SP Soto, 50-50. Ang sabi rin naman, so far, nagkausap daw si SP Soto, pati si Acting BRC Chairman Erwin Tulfo sa magiging direksyon ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Pero ang sabi rin ni SP Soto, November 10, bago na mag-November 10, magiging malinaw na ang lahat.
Yan ang gusto ko linawin kasi ang sinight si Senator Lacson for letting go of the chairmanship of the Blue Ribbon Committee is lack of confidence daw ng mga ibang members ng majority. But if you look at the numbers, overwhelming majority pa rin gusto si Senator Lacson.
Oo, tama. Kaso kasi nakalagay din doon, ang sinasabi rin ni Senator Ping sa lumipas na mga panayam din sa media, nakatimbang din yung tiwala rin sa kanya ng kapwa niya mga senador. Kaya nung nakikita niya merong growing disappointment plus merong narrative na lumalabas na tila meron daw pagtatakip sa ilang mga kongresista o personalidad, ang nakita niya ng option na dito ay yung stepping down. So yan yung isa sa mga inaabangan natin kasi so far, Senator Pia Cayetano, ang huli niya pa rin nasabi, pag ninilayan niya, pag darasal niya. Senator Risa Ontiveros, so far, wala rin pa siyang final confirmation kung inclined siya to accept or to decline the offer tulad nung simula nitong 20th Congress. And so far, doon naman sa ilang mga gentlemen, si Senator Erwin naman, naging sinabi niya na kung sakaling wala raw talagang tatanggap, bukas siyang maging permanent chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Pero for Senator Kiko, for Senator Raffy, pare-pareho na silang nag-decline at sinasabing tututukan muna nila yung kanilang mga advokasya at committees.
Alright, sige. Tanong ko pala, mabilisan lang yung naglabas ngayon ng salin si Senator Risa. Susundan ba yan ng iba nating mga senador?
Oo, Angela, last week, ang isa sa pinakauna namang nag-request at nagbigay ng kanyang consent dito kay Senate Secretary Bantug, si Senator Robin Padilla. So, after ni Senator Robin, si Senator Risa Ontiveros naglabas din ngayon at nakalagay doon na parang around 18 million pesos yung kanyang assets pero wala siyang liabilities, wala siyang utang, wala rin siyang business interest or networks or affiliations. So, yun yung aabangan din natin kung sino pa dito sa mga senador ang susunod. Pero sabi rin so far ni SP Soto, majority sa Senado ay nagpakita na ng kanilang willingness na okay sa kanilang i-publicize or i-disclose yung kanilang mga salients.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong oras, mobile journalist Mary Mon Reyes.
Don't go away, we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
Former PNP Chief Nicolas Torre III dismissed rumors of a vice presidential run in 2028 and confirmed he will testify against Apollo Kibuloy. Here is a report.
Former Philippine National Police Chief General Nicolas Torre III dismissed rumors that he is planning to run for vice president in the 2028 elections. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, Torre said he could hardly handle his previous post.
Parang hindi ko kakayanin dahil pag PNP nga lang, 85 days nga lang ako, tanggal agad eh. So, baka naman pag nag-VP ako, na-impeach ka agad ako, baka 84 days lang o 83 days lang.
Torre has been on leave since his relief as police chief on August 26. He added that he has yet to decide on his next steps once his leave ends on October 31, noting there are no updates on reports linking him to another government position.
Wala pa po talaga. Kasi, well, una-una, nakalive ako. Kaya, most probably, we'll wait until matapos ang leave ko at kung ano man ang mga bagong trabaho na ibibigay.
Torre is also set to testify against religious leader Apollo Kibuloy on October 23 at the Pasig Regional Trial Court.
On October 23, I'm set to testify sa Pasig Regional Trial Court regarding dun sa pagka-aresto sa kanya dun sa Davao. I'm going. Pupunta po ako at magte-testimonya laban sa kanya.
He clarified that he is not the complainant but served as the arresting officer during Kibuloy's apprehension in Davao. Torre also commented on the allegations of kidnapping against former President Rodrigo Duterte, saying the issue should be left to the courts to decide. He acknowledged that the Dutertes are entitled to their opinions, but it is now a legal matter.
For one, mga kuha nila yan eh. Mga opinion nila yan. So, okay lang na they can say what they want. We respect them. We respect their opinions. Pero nasa korte na yan at dapat ng pabayaan ng korte na mag-decide at talagang mag-pronounce kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari na yan.
An undermanned De La Salle University stunned defending champion University of the Philippines in a UAAP Season 88 thriller. Luis Pablo led the Green Archers with 14 points against his former team, while Earl Abadam and Voris Marasigan delivered clutch plays to seal the win. Despite missing injured recruits Kian Baclaan and Mason Amos, La Salle notched its fourth win in 7 games. Meanwhile, the Far Eastern University bounced back strong, defeating a short-handed University of the East. Despite the absence of coach Chris Gavina and Huelo Lingo-Lingo due to suspensions, the Red Warriors couldn't keep up as FEU secured its second win of the season.
The 10th Digital Congress kicks off, highlighting how brands can use personalization to connect with consumers in the digital age. Mobile journalist Jas Paredes has the report.
This year's 10th edition of the annual Digital Congress will pave the way for the next evolution in customer engagement. It's another decade for digital marketing innovation. With this, the Digital Marketing Association of the Philippines celebrates the 10th edition of its Digital Congress, centered around the theme, The Age of I, the Power of Personalization. The theme emphasizes the need for personalization and challenges brands to move from mass messaging to meaningful, one-to-one connections with consumers.
Because the technology and the platforms are already available, and that's what we're trying to unpack. That having a more personalized experience with their consumers will help their businesses. Studies around the world are already saying consumers want their experience with brands more personalized.
The two-day event is packed with opportunities to learn, interact, and collaborate, targeting various sectors from marketing, advertising, business, academia, media, and innovation. Delegates will also have the opportunity to obtain program certifications in partnership with the Certified Digital Marketer or CDM.
The hope is that by providing these inspirational speakers to give case studies and to look at these different facets, people can really apply and make the impact real for their companies. So we work closely with DTI on this, and we try to also empower the different MSMEs so that through digital marketing we're able to reach better heights in terms of performance.
This initiative of DMAP aligns with its mission to future-proof the industry by providing crucial insights and skills that empower marketers to thrive in the digital age. An important topic discussed under its 5 focus tracks, innovation, intelligence, immersive impact, and integration, is the use of artificial intelligence or AI. According to one of its keynote speakers, Dex Hunter Torre, an emerging technologies expert, a company that does not acknowledge AI in today's AI-driven world will most likely not survive in the next 10 years.
Not taking AI seriously is like not taking the internet seriously 20 years ago. At the same time, there's a lot of AI that is too much hype. It doesn't deliver enough value. The task of any serious business leader today is to be able to sort through the difference between what is hype and what is real.
Which is why digital ethics and responsible use of technology in digital marketing is also highlighted in the Congress.
As technology is making personalization easier, is look at, there are now conversations about ethics, right? Are you getting approval from your customer that you want to personalize this experience? Because they will feel like it's an intrusion on their privacy.
The Congress targets attendees, namely brands, agencies, and platforms, to explore complexity of personalization and unlock strategies for scalable, impactful connections. Kapatid Jas Paredes, we are One News.
And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angelo Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. Kapatid, we are One News.
All sides, all the time.